Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. It's a nice snowy day here in Herndon, Virginia. My name is Alexa. I'm one of the social media support team members here at Surefire. We're just going to give you guys about 60 more seconds for everyone to come in. We've got a good group today. It looks like a pretty full room. Everyone excited and ready to become one of Google's elite. Chris is just getting teed up. If you don't know, a little background about Chris. He's our founder and CEO here at Surefire Social, and we are a leader in the internet marketing world. We want to drive leads, we want to help you, and that's the point of today's webinar. I will be answering questions interactively throughout the presentation, so go ahead and ask. As well, at the end, we're gonna save some of your questions and do a Q&A. So shoot me an email or shoot me a question in the question box if you need anything answered. Also, let us know if you can't hear volume, if you can't see anything. Um, as well, stay with us for the entire time to get some special prizes. We're gonna be giving out our new ebook, which will help back this information. It's called the Ultimate Google Local Handbook. As well, these slides will be available if you need step-by-step walkthrough, and a copy of this presentation will be on our YouTube account. All of this you'll receive in an email, so please stick with us. We're going to give about 30 more seconds and then Chris is going to get ready to go. So I hope you guys enjoy. And if you have questions, please ask. We definitely want to hear them. All right.
Okay, everybody, this is Chris. Hope everybody's doing well today, and thank you for joining this webinar. It's going to be a lot of information coming at you. Everybody take a deep breath. If you're sitting at your computer, you might have been there for a while. Why don't you shrug your shoulders, put your arms up in the air, nod your head a little bit, get your shoulders all loose, get ready to have a good time and hopefully learn a lot about how you guys can get a little bit more signal strength to Google to become more visible. And that's what we're going to go through today. Hopefully you guys have a pad and pen, Word document or Evernote, even better, open so you could take some notes through this. But as Alex or Alexa said, you're going to get a copy of this PowerPoint. You'll be able to see a replay on this on YouTube, and you'll also get a copy of our new ebook, the Ultimate Google Local Handbook, at the end of the session. So hopefully that'll all kind of arm you guys with enough information to go off and do some of this stuff. Because at the end of the day, if this isn't actionable, learning is great, but if it's not actionable, it's not going to help you build your business. So let's kind of get to the agenda. So number one, we want to talk a little bit to you guys about the current state of Google. Everyone knows it's sort of a dominating online presence, but it's changed a lot in very important ways that might be subtle to people who are kind of in the geek stage like we are. That's important for you folks to understand because it really kind of sets the direction of the entire internet in a lot of different ways, and we'll talk about that. Then we're going to get into specifics of 7 key services that actually Google owns that not many people really realize they own all these different services that if you use them and implement them properly, they'll really send consistently signals to Google because obviously they're indexing their own properties and following them very closely. That could give you a leg up on your competition, and we'll talk about those. And then, we're also going to kind of wind this up by how do you now stay on top of this and sort of advance this platform idea further as you kind of develop your internet marketing more. So let's get started. So let's start with a few questions. We always like to start with a few questions that we hear. We work with businesses of various types all across North America. Most of them are lead focused, whether it be the home improvement or mortgage or medical practices, things like that. Um, So, one of the questions we get consistently is, how do I make my website more attractive to Google? I think at this point everybody realizes Google is sort of the big driver of traffic. How can you make your site more attractive to the Google index? And we'll hopefully answer that question. Also, what are some of the positive steps that I can take to make sure Google sees my personal profile and my business? Because there's all different types of things going on now with social media and a personal persona and a business persona, and it's very important that you understand both, and that you understand they're also connected, and it's important to understand that they're connected. Next is, what Google services can I use that increase the odds of Google finding my business? And those are the 7 services we're going to talk about. So let's get started. So if this chart doesn't kind of tell the story, I don't know what will. This is share of search engine um, market share. And that top line is Google, and those bottom lines are everybody else. And that, doesn't need to be explained. However, there's something that you need to understand in all this, right? It's not just your website being indexed by Google today to be able to show up in Google search results, and for that matter, any others listed here as well. Because now that they're reading your blog posts and indexing your blog posts and looking at the headlines you have on that, and there's some cool ways you can make your every blog post, very visible to come up in search engines for the keywords that you're doing. Pictures, videos, um, articles you might be writing, guest blog posts that you might be doing, um, content you distribute, anywhere from infographics to ebooks, things like that. So the context of what shows up in search engines is evolving and changing in a much broader way. This atomized web that I keep on talking about, and the different content layers that you want to do. So let's kind of get into this a little bit. Um, Google introduced Google Plus um, sometime in 2011, and you know it, what Google Plus is doing is adding a social layer to um, what used to be Google Profile. Okay, um, so the difference, though, people kind of at first, when Google announced Google Plus, they thought about it as a competition to Facebook and started measuring it versus Facebook. And Google Plus is not necessarily a destination like Facebook is, but it's this idea of a social layer. And to kind of give you some context to that, for example, if you want to sign up for for Gmail, they're going to have you start a Google Plus account. If you want to give a review in the Google local directory, you're going to have a Google Plus account. If you want to do create a YouTube account and be able to publish videos to YouTube, they're going to ask you to do a Google Plus account. So Google Plus has become huge because Google has so many different services that are integrated into the everyday lives of people. It's really become this social layer across these services, and these various services create signals to Google through Google Plus. So hopefully this is starting to come together a little bit for you.
Hey, Chris, we're going to just stop for a sec. So, now, right before we dive into all this stuff, we're going to do a poll. Just a quick little thing to see how much you guys already know about some of the services that Google offers. So, we're going to give you about 60 seconds if you can join or answer the poll.
Let's get good participation, guys. It helps us better understand the audience too. Okay, we're going to give you guys like another 10 seconds or so. Let's keep it going. If you haven't voted, please vote. It really gives us great information about who you guys are as an audience. All right, 2 seconds, and Alexa, shut it off. Let's show the results. So looks like about 54% of you are aware of Google Places, which is great. About 46%. It's interesting, about half and half. Google Places is really, really important for your business. So I'm glad for the 50% of you who don't know about it. We're going to give you a really good head start to getting started on Google Places. Those of you who do, hopefully, we're going to give you some layers of context that'll help you optimize yours a little bit more. So thanks for that. Thanks for that information. So to understand Google Plus a little bit more, kind of drilling down into this a little bit more, you could kind of create an analogy to what you already know about SEO. The past 10 years of SEO has been about SEO companies like ours, where we get content links and we kind of adjust to the algorithms. The algorithms get smarter and smarter at figuring out how people might game them and what junk links are and things like that. In the last 6 months, in fact, they've got really smart at that with Panda and Penguin updates, and it's really important to change SEO tactics to adjust to that. And we've been doing that the last 6 months, and we're about to make some pretty dramatic changes because of that. Part of it's because we're going to talk to you about here. So we're moving to a world now. If you think about Google Plus, where there's a profile now, a Google Plus profile attached to reviews that you do, content you upload in pictures or videos, um, you know, uh, Google Plus posts that you do. What you start to do is build a reputation around who you are, an inferred reputation that search engines start to understand about you. Who links to you and what their reputations are starts to build your reputation as well. So we start to move into a world in the future where people become important links for companies. So this connection between people and links are going to become more important for Google Plus. It's in the form of creating circles and create followers in Google Plus. So social profiles become really important, and making sure that you're fully kind of creating profiles and you're active in your profiles and active across the web as a person as well as your business becomes really, really important. Okay. So that kind of sets the stage conceptually about why this is really important to pay attention to and start to really understand, and why social media in general, what we're talking about with Google Plus, applies to Facebook. It applies to other social or networks or directories as well, where you want to create a persona, you want to create a reputation by that persona, you want to get thought leaders in your market to follow you because those connections are important to help building your reputation and persona. Okay, so it's not just Google Plus, but we're going to talk here about specific ways now to to expand and to build on your Google persona, because it's somewhat controllable. Okay, and we're going to talk specifically about several services: Google Plus Local, YouTube, Panoramio, something called Google Authorship that you put on your blog, which is really, really important, and then Google Reader, which is a really great tool for you to have a pulse on what's going on in your market and help you think about content ideas and stuff like that to actually use to distribute content in all these different places. Okay, everybody ready to go? So let's just start out with a basic concept here. Google profile. Before Google Plus, there's something called Google Profile, and if you signed up for Google Profile and created a Google Profile, your Google Profile will be converted to a Google Plus page. Now, Google Plus not only takes your information about you, but it adds that social layer. So what you're going to want to do is go in there. If you had a Google profile, go into it, and then you'll see it's a Google Plus page now. And you're going to want to start to add people import. There's all kinds of tools to be able to take your email list. If you have Gmail, it's really simple, and invite those folks to your Google Plus account and follow you. Things like that you're going to want to do. um, so if you've got your Google, if you had a Google profile, it's going to be automatically converted. If you didn't have a Google profile, then you could create a Google Plus account by just Googling Google Plus if you want, and you're going to be able to just start account there. You're going to need to have a Google Gmail account to do that, I believe. And we have the step-by-step instructions on doing this in the handbook that we're gonna give you. What's really important though, when you create your Google Plus account, is post things to it occasionally, and it should be posting not only things personally, but the reason why they create these circles, kind of like Facebook allows you to have different groups of people and organize your friends into different groups of people, so you could have your family where you're posting things that are personal and related to your family and post them to family circles, but things that are business and you want to create a business persona about who you are, you could do that to your business group as well. So you're going to want to do that. Now, here's a big heads up on all this stuff. Because Google's been a moving target and changing different things, Google profiles, Google Plus. We're going to talk about Google Plus Local in a minute, your Google Plus Local page. Google Plus Local changed from Google Places to now Google Plus Local Business pages. Um, it could be a pretty big muddy mess of what you have, especially if you've had different admins or office assistants or marketing people in your company um, creating Google personas for you or your business or your different executives over time. One of the things that we do for our clients is do research to find out what exists, and it's important to do that research yourself, or we'll show you at the end how we could help you do this, where you understand all the different kind of dead bodies that are out there and consolidate or close accounts so that you tighten up what you've got going on, because that could dilute the effectiveness of everything we're talking about.
So, Chris, we're going to take another pause here and do another poll. So he just talked about how you dilute everything going on and stuff. We just want to know how if you guys are updating regularly, because that's definitely another way to connect and build things and put authoritative, make your reputation better. So we're going to ask a quick question, give you some time, and let's find out if you guys are updating.
All right, the poll's launched, guys. Let's get some good participation. You guys are great. The last poll. Okay, let's keep going. The idea is, are you updating regularly Google Plus, Google Plus Local, putting new pictures, adding videos, making sure your categories are right, all that stuff? We're going to give you like another 10 seconds. Okay, if you haven't voted, please vote. We're almost at 100%, almost there. If you haven't voted, you're one of that 5%. All right, we're cutting it off. Thank you guys for voting on that. So, we've got about almost 60%, 57% of the folks out there are not updating. And that's important because the way the web works today, where everything operates in a dynamic, sort of content environment. If you're not updating, and this kind of works for your website. That's why blogs are such a great way to update a website. If you just do a blog post every week or two, it gives a reason for search engines to go back and index that. You need to be updating your different social media and other types of profiles. So that's key. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Who is that handsome man right there? Unbelievable, good looking guy. Um, so this is an example of a Google Plus profile, not Google Plus Local, but a Google Plus profile. Um, those boards I kind of put there because they remind me of summertime for some reason, what have you. But you could customize the background. Um, and you post regularly. You could see I posted here. I think this was from yesterday or 2 days ago to talk about our Google Magnet program and the ebook and this webinar. So when I mean, posting could not only be content that you've got or ideas that you've got or reposting things that you've seen, but when you have a home show or you're going to an event or you're speaking somewhere or you're inviting people to a webinar like this, great reasons to post. So you want to make sure you have a good picture and you've got a complete profile with everything filled out. So Google Plus Local. So Google took the old Google Places, which was basically a description of your company and the categories and your locations and your NAP data, name, address, phone number, um, and things like that. And what they did is they sort of created a social layer on top of that, so that you create this dynamic, page for your for your company to be able to not only show who you are, describe who you are, but also do that through posting and people who connect with you and things like that with Google Plus. And reviews are obviously tied into this as well. Reviews on Google Plus are like gold in terms of social signals. Um, to the degree that you could work into your business process and systems to be able to um, ask consumers at that, or your customers at that point of satisfaction, wherever that is, that you've delivered your service and they're happy, to be able to give you a review on Google Plus Local or on Yelp. Yelp's another really good one. Internet Yellow Pages. They're all becoming reviews are really important signals. Why? Because today they all have to be attached to a profile. I heard a stat the other day on Yelp that 40% of the reviews that are submitted to Yelp are not published because the review filters feel like they can't trust the reputation of the person doing the submission. So they're all doing that and clamping down, and that's why search engines love these these profiles that attach a real person, a reputation around that person to signals in SEO. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So step-by-step creation. The idea is to sign into Google Plus and click Pages, and then under More on the left side, create a new page, on the upper right, and then select Local Business or Places category. And then you kind of just go from there, and then it really walks you through a set of dialog boxes. The key is don't blow through this. In fact, before you do it, you might want to really think about, a company description. Think about the geographies within your market that you want to make sure you highlight, in terms of zip codes, things like that. Think about the categories you want to make sure you're listed under, so you're searchable under those categories. So when you go through this, have your logo, a really nice, um, uploadable picture of your logo, picture of you as an owner or some of your key executives, pictures of some of your jobs, things like that, videos. Have content available so you could fully complete these types of profiles. Okay. So you just continue through this creation, and I'm not going to go through this in detail because you're going to get an ebook at the end of this, and you could get this PD, you could get this PowerPoint that'll walk you through the specifics. Okay. So this is an example, one of our clients, Istueta Roofing, where you could see that this is a different format than Places, where it's got multiple pictures. It's got the picture up on the upper right. It's got the mapping, the phone number, the posts here. Uh, and the key is again to keep up with these posts and make sure that all these different sections about photos, videos are filled out, and start to get followers. Take your database of emails and invite people to follow your business. so that when you start to post things, in this case with this Duetta Roofing, if there's a weather event in Miami, they'll be able to start posting like tips on on how to check to see if you have roof damage, and by the way, get a free consultation, things like that. Google authorship. Okay, I thought the best way to kind of give you an idea of what this is to actually show you. Google authorship is again one of these things that is just Google gold for SEO rankings. Again, with this idea of people becoming links, okay? When you sign up for Google authorship and you create a Google authorship account and then you put that code on your blog, um, you've got it's attached to a profile. So Google knows who you are. You're a real person. There's a real picture of you. And as an author, over time, you gain reputation by how many people comment on your blog, the distribution of your blog, RSS feeds of your blog. But what Google authorship does is make your blog more visible for long tail keywords. The reason why you're doing a blog is because you want to add more content to your site that Google likes, and you're using your keywords and things like headlines and subheads and body copy, so that you're trying to write things of interest to humans, that really give them insights and important information, but also signaling to the search engines that you're an authority on these things. Now, Google has a way to let them to tell them that you're an authority and to track you. So now on a search engine results page, what will happen is if someone types in a long tail keyword, which most of them are, by the way, people are typing in sentences when they search now. It could hit on a blog post that you did, and what's going to come up is what we're showing you here, which is the headline, the blog headline, the URL, the picture, and then the little caption of what that's about. So in this case, it's my blog about 2013 trends. If you haven't done an RSS feed to my blog, you should go to surefiresocial.com/our-blog and get that into your reader, whatever that reader is, or visit it regularly. You have great content there. But this is a great way for you to become really visible and start to tell the search engines that you are an authority.
Chris, we've had a couple of people ask, what are long tail keywords and how will they help your SEO rankings?
Okay. Long tail keywords are keywords that have over 3 words or more in them. And one of the uh, big opportunities in this new world in content distribution, things like that, is to a lot of businesses maybe don't have the domain age, don't have the length of time and the page rank of their current site where they could take on like if take you know roof repair. If you're a brand new roofer in a given market, it's a competitive market, it might take you years to get to the first page of Google doing all the right things for that keyword that's probably very, very competitive. But it might be someone typing in, how do I prepare, how do I uh, know if my roof is damaged in an ice storm, right? Where you could have written an article, a blog post on, today it's icy and snowy and terrible weather here in Virginia. And if you were a roofer and you wrote, how to see if you have ice damage on your roof, and someone happened to see a leak or something happening on their roof, they might type that in and your blog post will come up. So a long tail keyword is something that is 3 words or longer. And um, when you accumulate, if you look in your Google Analytics and you accumulate all the 1, 2 impressions that you're getting, in terms of driving traffic to your website, you'll see there's hundreds and hundreds of keywords that are driving people to your website if you are doing any SEO at all or you're doing it right. And long tail is a great way to use content distribution. Okay, hopefully that helps. So once you have you have to have a Google Plus account to set up Google authorship. Like I said, everything now in Google, the way Google's getting a Google Plus account so they have a profile and they know you're a real person is anything you do in a Google service now, you've got to have a Google Plus account. And that's why it's blown up to be so big so quickly. But if you go to google.com/authorship and you enter a verified email address that matches the domain name of your content, so this is a case where you've got to have your domain name of your content in your email address. So it's important to kind of coordinate these things. So in our ebook, hopefully we clarify that for you. So you enter that email address, and then you start to go through a, a series of dialog boxes that explain to you how to set up Google authorship. Now, fair warning, Google authorship is a little bit tricky, and if you are um, not technically savvy at all, you're a little bit afraid of code, you're probably going to want to get someone on your web team to help you do this. We do this for our clients typically because it's a little bit beyond because it does require you to put some code on your website. But the basic idea of Google authorship in the diagram you see below here is you've got your website and you've got your Google profile, and what you're trying to do is say to Google in this thing is here's who I am, here's a good picture to use, I have credibility, and here's the blog I write for, and you can have multiple people by the way in your company on your company blog with attached to that blog in their own individual Google authorship account, which we do, and it's a really good idea to do that. And then what it does is then sends that signal back. So when people search in these long tail keywords, it'll come up with the headline, who the author is, and a description as I showed you earlier. So this is the code, and again, we're going to give you this PowerPoint, and you're going to get the step-by-step instructions. If you get a little bit queasy with any technology, then you're not going to want to do this on your own. You're going to want to give this information to your web people. Okay. So create.
Okay, so we've had some questions about that, and like Chris said, we will give you all the information after. We're gonna email it out to you. Um, and before we move on to our next category, we just had a quick question. So we're talking about all this connection back to you and everything. So we want to know if you guys regularly upload geotag photos. Now, if you don't know what that is, Chris will explain it in a minute. And geotag photos and videos to your social directories because that's where the future is going. So let's see how you guys answer this one. We're going to give you a couple of seconds.
All right, guys, that's the next section we're going to go into right now with YouTube and a program called Panoramio. So we want to find out how it could be Flickr, it could be other things as well, but how many of you are uploading things right now, and it's particularly geotagged. We're going to give you another couple of seconds. A lot of people voting on this one. This is everyone's interested in this. Let's close this down.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This was our most participated poll so far.
So looks like almost 80% of you guys are not doing that, and we started doing this with clients well over a year ago, and really emphasized the importance of it. What's cool about YouTube and Panoramio is they're kind of in this Google constellation, so they add signals and all that stuff as we talked about, and reputation to personal profile and business profile. For all those things, we like doing it within those things, but Flickr and there's other ones out there, other videos as well, but they allow you to what's called geotag your media. And in a world of local marketing, you know, um, uh, uh, where things like HTML5 now are being introduced in content management systems that are geography focused. Um, our belief is that the companies that have the most geotagged content out there are going to be in a real leadership position versus their competition because you're giving signals about your local market, and also if you're using the right kind of keywords and headlines and things like that, you're giving them real good signals around your keywords and what you want to be visible for as well. So as a New Year's resolution, you might want to make one of them for this year. It doesn't have to be a lot. One or two pictures a month. One or two videos a month. And it could be anything. It could be testimonial video. It could be a short little video on a new service that you're introducing. To describe it to people. It could be a before and after picture for a client or things like that. But you don't get overwhelmed by numbers. Just start doing it. One or two, and then as you build it into your workflow, you could get better at it. But YouTube is our kind of player of choice. And what you're going to want to do is when you create your YouTube account, you want to make sure that you're pointing using that embed code and using that in Facebook and all around your website, things like that, because you know again you create reputation and signals every time someone views your your video on YouTube. So that kind of helps create that reputation. So you set up YouTube, you set up your account, um, and then you make sure that you're linking to drive more views to that. Okay. And again, there's a step-by-step creation of YouTube that we put in here for you, and you could go through that. But it's pretty, it's once you get to the dialog box and get in there, you're using your same, email you've created for everything, Google Plus and everything else. Is important to use that same account, so it's all under that same umbrella account, and all the credit goes to that. Um, and then just follow the dialog boxes to set that up. And you could customize, if you create a YouTube channel for your business, you could customize that YouTube channel with your, kind of your style guides, your colors, things like that, your logos, things like that. Okay. And, Istueta Roofing, who we showed you earlier, one of our, really just on the ball clients down in Florida, they did a video that became pretty viral. Pretty viral is an understatement. Almost 2 million views of this video. They happened to be taking bats flying out of a roof when they were replacing a tile roof. The signals on this were incredible. Frank, the owner, ended up getting interviewed by all the major local news organizations. It just ended up being a tremendous, tremendous marketing vehicle for the company. Panoramio is, if you haven't heard of it, it's sort of the Flickr of Google. Very similar in capabilities. So you set up account here again, and it's a great place to geotag photos in this case. One thing you don't do, when we started getting clients on this, they get really excited. They put like 20, 30 clients or pictures on at a time, and that sort of flags that you're gaming the system, and they'll shut you down. You don't want to do that. You want to make the stuff look natural. That's why, again, you don't have to get crazy with this stuff. But if you just do a few of these every month, you're going to be, by the end of the year, you'll be way ahead of your competition. Um, and we find that these rank really fast too, if you've got the right geotags and the right headings in these. And you could especially, we see a lot of our clients actually winning against manufacturers that they represent in local markets, because again, Google and the other search engines as well want to try to find someone as close to that searcher who could help them with something. So they're looking for signals that you're someone that could actually not only sell it to them but install it for them. So actually, local businesses, if you do these signals right, have a leg up against manufacturers or national companies when you do things like this. So we go through here, in here a step-by-step creation of Panoramio as well. I'm not going to walk you through it on this webinar, but you'll get this again to be able to do that. So now we're doing Google Reader.
Yeah. And guys, don't be overwhelmed. This is our last service that we're going to explain. I know it's a lot of information, but it's good stuff. So keep driving through.
All right. Hopefully you guys aren't getting overwhelmed here. And well, again, we have people who can help you if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So we'll talk about that at the end. Um, Google Reader is not really as much of a SEO signal, but Google Reader, we talk a lot of the things that we talk about here is you need to find things that you could post and tell people about. And what Google Reader allows you to do is keep track of your competitors, what they're writing on their blogs. Category leaders, manufacturers, or big service providers that you resell, things like that, so that you could stay up to date and stay current. You can use that your same email address you got with your Google Plus and everything, and set up your Google Reader, and then you could once or twice a week just peruse through your RSS feeds of the different things that you're trying to keep a pulse on. It makes it really easy to keep a pulse on what's going on in your market, and we have a step-by-step sort of creation of that here as well, and Google Alerts we have here as well. Okay, as an example of my personal, I think, Google Reader account. So what now? Um, we're winding down here, and I think we just want to remind you all that there's not a silver bullet to become really visible in your market. The key is to do a few things in a coordinated way, and that's what's going to drive leads and conversion um, in your market, and to really help build your business. Seth Godin, someone I follow closely, who's I think a very smart marketing guy. Said it's kind of interesting. Everyone has access to the same tools. Um, and if that's the case, then having the tool isn't that much of an advantage. It's knowing how to use it and actually employing it. And I guess that's sort of the core of the message that we're trying to communicate to you guys today. The key is for you guys as business owners is you want to have a properly structured website, the right conversion mechanisms, the right site structure. You want to be doing that link building, off page with SEO. A lot of it with content, natural link building, and on page, you still need to make sure you've got your on page SEO done properly. You want to be participating in social media, especially some of the things that we talked about, and as well as Facebook and other social media. And pay per click is another important kind of arrow in the quiver, if you want to sort of complete that cycle to really kind of get more than your fair share of leads in a market. And the issue that we know, because we work with small business owners all across North America, is that a lot of times you don't have the time to implement this stuff. And it takes hands-on, careful personal attention. Um, and the key is to hire a company, whether it be us or somebody has real experience, and they're really transparent, really great reporting in the activities that they're doing. We happen to put a coach or an account services person on all of the clients that we have that actually have monthly meetings that usually once to twice a month minimally, where we actually go through this stuff. We go and we measure and track everything so we know the ROI and we know what's working, what's not working, and we're able to optimize that stuff over time. So I'd encourage you to all think about this year, kind of how you put together a program that sort of does that, and you'll come out of the year in much better shape than you went into it. I think we're gonna, after this slide, just launch the last poll and ask you folks if you wanted to get a sort of an idea of how visible you are, and how you are standing up in the different Google and social media directories and profiles and things like that. But just to remind you, Surefire Social delivers personal, comprehensive strategies for effective local marketing. If you go to surefiresocial.com/Google, you'll be able to download the book, or you'll wait for Alexa's email, and she'll send you that with a link to the YouTube of this webinar. And then what we're going to do is put up this last poll, and then we're going to answer some questions. This poll basically says if you guys want to have someone from our consulting team contact you, and we'll do a report that shows you, are you verified, is your profile up, is it working across different social networks and platforms, and how visible you are in your market. we'll do that as a free consultation. And what the idea is, you come out of that with 3 to 5 really good tips on things that you could do to actually improve your presence in your market. If you want to do that, just click yes on the poll that we have up.
Okay, Chris. So while people are voting in the poll, we're going to go to the question and answer portion. And you guys have been asking really good questions. Hopefully, I answered a few and saved some of the ones that a lot of people had for this. So the first question is how to pull reviews when your clients are older and not using computers, or if the person doesn't have a Google Plus account. Is there a way that they can still try to get like if they can still post onto your Google page, or how user friendly is Google Plus for people who aren't that aware of it?
That's a good question. Google Plus, like I said earlier, is not like Facebook. It's not a destination, at least not now. It doesn't mean that they're not trying to achieve that down the road. And all this stuff is dynamic and changes all the time. But Google Plus right now is really just a great place to be able to create signals through the posting that you do. And you want to start to get set up for as it, it is evolving. A year and a half ago when it started, people kind of were first everybody signed up for it, then everybody said it's sort of like the party that never started, and now all of a sudden we're seeing glimpses of Google's real ultimate plan to bring people into that through getting everyone to sign up through their other services. So the key right now is to do some regular, get your Google Plus account, fill it out, do these other types of services that we talk about. You need to do Google Plus Local for your local business, and it's probably one of the most important visibility drivers for your local business. Um, and then start to just invite people and friends to follow you on that. It's not that you're going to reach a lot of people. Don't think of it as an advertising vehicle at this point, but you're doing it because you want to just enhance your brand as a person and your brand as a business. It's a great way to do that.
Okay, so the next question a lot of people have asked is, does Google like Google's products more when ranking wise? Are they going to rank you higher if you're updating more on your Google services, or if you're updating on social media sites like Facebook and Pinterest? What is Google ranking wise SEO? What is it like?
That is a very good question. I think the last 6 months, Google's been in antitrust court telling the government that they treat everybody the same and fairly. So that's what they will say. And I guess we'll just take that at face value. We do see that things rank quickly in Panoramio. We know that for YouTube. And we know that Google Plus Local, that being in that 7 pack on a search engine results page when there's an inferred local search is really, it could be a really important business driver for people's local businesses. So we do think that because Google owns them, they're obviously going to be able to index them and tie into them in ways they can't do with things that don't own. That said, there are a lot of other important things. Facebook is important and actually going to become more important. Our next webinar, maybe to tease this for next time, our next webinar is going to be on Facebook, and I don't know if you guys have seen all the announcements, but Facebook announced search, and they're using the social graph to do local search. So now we're kind of getting ready for a Facebook versus Google in local search sort of face off, and then you could add Siri to that with Apple and Yelp and a bunch of other people. So it's getting complex, it's getting intense, it's getting but all this works if you know how to leverage it. It works to the advantage of the local business owner if you know how to leverage these things in the right way to become more visible.
All right, our final question that you guys have, which you kind of just talked about, but let's drive it home, is how often do you really need to be updating? I mean, is it, do you need to be updating tons of photos? Do you need to be updating tons of videos? Or is it a couple of months? And will that really have a big impact? What is Surefire seen as like in respect to that? And what is your opinion as someone who's been in the business and who is an internet marketing, some people could say, expert?
Well, some people could say that. I'm glad you say that. The The in terms of updating, I would say, start within realistic parameters of what you could do in your workflow. But I would say if you could do minimally, once to twice a week just to start out. And what you'll be able to do is there's all kinds of workflow tools that you could do, like Google Reader that we just showed you. From Google Reader, you could find an article that you really like, you click on it, and then all of a sudden you just do post to Google Plus. You click a button. It's that easy to post something on Google Plus. Once you start to realize it's not as complex as you think it is. By the way, you could also post it that easy to Facebook, post it that easy to Twitter, and a bunch of other places as well. Once you realize that you could use these tools in a concerted way to actually, and you could probably spend, you know, uh, 20 minutes a week, 10 minutes, 2 days, 2 mornings a week, you could probably, do a nice job of getting like the 1 to 2 posts out there, maybe even more. And then you get more sophisticated layers, like pictures to video testimonials of clients, videos of things. Then you can start to kind of add your own content, and that's where you got to build stuff into your workflow and get your people equipped with the right kind of cameras, things like that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Any more questions? If you have any, shoot us. But while we're waiting, like we said, if you're interested, if you clicked yes to the poll, we'll have someone contact you soon. Emails will go out with all these slides, which have step by step, as well as a connection to our Ultimate Google Local Handbook, which is another great tool to help you. And we just want to help you guys grow. So here's some final words from Chris.
All right, guys, thank you. The key thing right now is, go out and do this stuff. You've learned about it. Don't be afraid to fail. Try things, do it. If you want our help, let us know. We're going to close down the poll now and we're going to sign off. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. I think you have to